Alrighty guys, we're back for Rotation Proof Ratadrabik Returns, and this is an Outlaws of Thunder Junction standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, this was a suggestion down in the comments, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. We do have all four Ratadrabik of Urborg, 4 mana, 3/3, legendary creature, Vigilance, Ward 2, nice. Other zombies you control have Vigilance. Whenever another legendary creature you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's not legendary, and it's a 2/2 black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Pretty neat card, man. We're going to be pairing this with a whole bunch of powerful legendaries, like this new one here, Kambal, Profiteering Mirror. This is a 3 mana, 2/4 legendary creature. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them, you create a tapped token that's a copy of it. This ability triggers only once each turn. That's pretty neat, but it's mainly in here for this bottom ability. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life as well. That is cool, man. We do have other ways in here outside of the Ratadrabik to actually create tokens, like Lord Skitter, Sewer King. This is a 3 mana, 3/3, of course. Actually, we see Lord Skitter too much. I'm actually going to skip going over this because we have a lot packed in here, man. So some other powerful legendaries that's going to work with like this whole Ratadrabik and Kambal nonsense. It's like Elas, il-Kor. That's going to be a good one. There's a reason I got all 4 of them in here. We do have this Bartolomé. Yeah, something like that. It's a 2 mana, 2/1, sacrifice another creature or artifact. Put a +1/+1 counter on Bartolomé. That's a pretty good ability, man, because there's no, like, you don't have to tap anything. You don't have to pay any mana. You can just straight up sacrifice as much as you want, plug a counter onto this, and if you already have an established board state with, like, Ratadrabik on there too, then this could really pop off. We do have things that work well when our creatures die, like Vraan, Executioner, Thane, making the cut as a 2/of. Whenever one or more other creatures you control die, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. However, this is a death trigger. Same thing with that Elas, il-Kor ability. We do have like a Drivnod on the top end here. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And of course, that works with like the whole Ratadrabik nonsense as well. While we're here on the top end, we might as well finish going over it real quick. We do have a single Aclazotz, Deepest Betrayal, and we also have a Ojer, Tack, Deepest Foundation on the top end too. Interested to see how much that's actually going to do today. We do have some more 4-drops to talk about. We do have a Vito in here, Fanatic of Aclazotz. That should be interesting when we have a little bit of a sacrifice theme packed in. Sheoldred made the cut because I think it would be silly not to at least have one of these in here. We do have a couple Mondraks as well to work with the token generation theme. So if one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. That'll pair beautifully with the Ratadrabik. And speaking of which, that Tack specifically reads creature tokens, and then it's 3 times that many of those tokens instead. I do think Mondrak is going to be much better in this build though, because 6 mana is pretty darn steep. We do have other ways packed in to actually sacrifice things. So we have a couple Braids, for example. That should be pretty good. The removal of choice is actually going to be a go for the throat with a couple Get Lost too. Every now and then you may target your own things with Get Lost just to generate some extra map tokens, or maybe double those map tokens or something just to have more on the board to sacrifice to like Braids or something. That's going to be very, very rare, but that's one of the reasons Get Lost is in here. Also, let's take the time now to remind Red Cat that this also hits enchantments. Okay, that's very important. And the front of the build, guys, we do have a couple Tiny Bones, the Pickpocket, a couple Skrelv as well, and a Dusk Rose Reliquary fitting that whole sacrifice theme. Over in the mana base, we do have the Courtyards, the, I guess we call it the Fast Land, right? Instead of the Pain Land, we're just opting for Courtyard. I think it's going to be a little bit better in this deck list. We do have some Soul Lands with the Shadowy Backstreet. Mirrex made the cut as well, and then we do have some fast lands with Plaza of Heroes, pretty much being able to cast anything in here outside of the spot removal. We do have a 50-50 split between Swamp and Plains, even though we don't have a 50-50 split here. It is close enough for my liking. Some very important honorable mentions, guys. Tiny Bones joins up, could have been cool in here. Vadmir Newblood is an excellent one. Elish Norn, Mother of Machines, is an excellent one. And then also the Gisa the Hellraiser could have been awesome in here with that zombie theme with the Ratadrabik. However, I think that the Aclazotz is going to be much, much better. And unfortunately, I did not want to drop the Drivnod either for the Geese of the Hellraiser. Honorable mentions for a reason, for sure. And actually, like, the more I'm looking at it, the more I feel like I need to find a spot for this. Maybe, like, dropping the Ojer attack, maybe? Maybe? No. We're going to keep it as is for now and maybe talk about the Hellraiser more in the final thoughts, because also there's not too many ways to commit crimes in here, although there are a few between the Lord Skitter and the spot removal as well. Okay, guys, enough rambling. I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked and see how we do. Right into that first game. All right, what am I expecting from the build? When we pop off, we're really going to pop off. And when we don't see it, we're really not going to see it. That's what I'm expecting from the build. Opponent goes first. Very slow hand. Get Lost is available. We got the mana we need and a lot of things to draw into. A lot of 1s, 2s, and 3s. All right, call me crazy. I'm going to keep it. Let's see what happens. See what the opponent's rocking over there. Canal. Mondrak. Start with the plains. Gonna be a consider from the opponent. So they kept whatever the surveil was on top. They must have liked it. They plan on plotting up for the turn. No, they go right into a slick shot show off. Will be great to keep the Get Lost open too. We do have a play for the turn with Bart here. But we need to keep a way to pop the show off probably. It'd be nice to get a creature down, but hopefully we have no issues finding our 4th mana on time too. Go for the swing. We're going to go to the blocking step. Oh, they're not going to risk playing anything on it, which probably means protection. Oh, we land. Bro, that's good for us. Thank goodness. Right. Risky keeping it open, but I wanted them to drop a whole bunch of stuff on that show off. Sometimes you can kind of tell at the beginning of a game, like, when it's worth risking things. We'll see what they end up doing with these map tokens as well. The Forge was a pretty good play. Man, this hand was way too slow to keep. Oh my goodness, what was I thinking? It's probably going to be Vito so we can block successfully in the air for a second show off when it comes time. And then Aclazotz will be excellent here too. All right, second show off comes down. Swinging for 2. Yeah, we should get the Vito. Vito probably dies, but like just getting it down and established. It's a decent enough blocker for now, right? The more I'm thinking about it too, with the potential of like a second slick shot show off and everything, we really shouldn't have risked them having potential protection for this first show off. Should have just done it on our turn for sure. They go for the lightning strike and a slick sequence actually. Very nice. That replaces itself. Going down to 9, and we are in danger if we don't see an untapped source for Aclazotz. Untapped source, Aclazotz will come down and hopefully pull this game back for us. However, if the opponent found more burn, then it's going to be theirs. We need to at least get the block for at least gaining 4. Duelist of the Mind. Consider. It does buff the show off. Do we still block the show off even though there's a chance of it getting above the Aclazotz? Probably, right? We got to get the show off the board. Map token, they have a chance of hitting a counter, but hopefully they miss because this block would be much better. All right, they missed the counter. They played the mountain though. I guess technically it could be more. Okay. Oh no, they got the counter. We still block. We still block. Or we could, if they full swing, which I don't think they do. If they full swing, we'll block the 3-1, take 6, but we gain 4. That lets us keep the Aclazotz around for like a swing next turn. If we block Slick Shot now, it's gone. We gain 4. No Monstrous Rage. Urabrask's Forge is still a problem. Oh, no. A tough decision, dude, but I think we do it. Because this gives us our 6th mana, too. Oh, no, it exiles because of Etching. Welp. Welp. This is awkward. Well, at least we drew something that we can play for the turn, though. We'll start with the Surveil. We don't need that right now, I don't think. We can get the Mondrak down. Oh, what a mess we are in, guys. What a mess we are in. So, with the Etching Exile, if we waited... Yeah, no, it was the block, right? I think the block had to have been the best there, even with the Exile. Although I was expecting to have the Aclazotz untap his land to get the tack down for the turn, and a 6/6 Vigilance just seems like it would be really good here. Forge is about to get above the Mondrak, and the trample on the Forge is pretty brutal as well. So, like, we're in serious danger here. Slick Sequence. They do get the draw on the Duelist ability for the Crime, but they don't get the draw on the Slick Sequence. So they must have just drawn into the Kamano then. In other words, they would have started with Kamano. Dude, this is crazy, man. Props to the opponent that we're gonna die next turn. We might as well take the 11 and see if Mondrak can do something fancy. Yeah, might as well. Instead of letting Mondrak die to a 4-1, they're just gonna get a 5-1 anyways. Wow, Ratadrabik. Dude, hello. Hi. How are you? Not bad, not bad. The Duelist of the Mind is going to get there regardless. Oh, wait, their second spell was the Eidetic Memory. Was it? I don't know, man. I wasn't paying enough attention on the opponent's turn. I was just trying to think of how to survive. So with Mondrak, we could... not a lot. There's not a lot. So I'll just do it all on my turn, so that way while the opponent's tapped out, they can't do anything. They can't do anything to us. Oh, you know what? You know what? No, it's another creature, unfortunately. So we don't even get the double counters from the Ratadrabik because that also reads another legendary. Actually, we didn't have too much there, even though it all seemed cool. We're dead regardless. Kamano is actually what took us out there, too. The opponent's deck list is really cool. We can't be mad about an awesome Is It list. Did I have fun? I mean, it would have been nice to play a little bit more, but we can't complain too much. We still got to play a lot of our creatures regardless. The double show-offs, we had to deal with that no matter what. I could have played this out so much better, though, for real, man. There had to have been a more optimal line of play. Definitely let me know in the comments. That Ratadrabik was good. And we could have kept the, at the end there, we could have kept the Mondrak and sacrificed it after we blocked with it too, by the way. Like that's more optimal, but we were going to die no matter what from the flyer. But then because of the 3 creatures we established on the board, they all read when another thing enters or whatever. Like we weren't actually able to even pop off, even though we finally got a lot established at the end. It's a great hand, much faster. Keeping the go for the throw on top for sure. Oh, buddy, we're gonna need it too. Vraan, il-Kor first, even though it has a high chance of getting burnt. If it actually does get established, then we have a very great lineup here. Go for the swing. New we do not block. Oh, nice. It's a monstrous rage instead of a play with fire. We get to keep this Elas il-Kor around. Ratadrabik is a good draw. Braids not having terrific sacrifice here. So it's probably just going to be Vraan. Gain 1. And then see what the opponent does. It's a little janky, but we'll block the Swift Spear with the Elas il-Kor if they give us the chance to. Swift Spear number 2. Blazing Crescendo on a Phoenix check instead of the trampling Swift Spear. I guess that makes sense because the Swift Spears already have a huge target on its back. Taking 1 trample there, then another 6. If we block the... So it's... Okay. So it's 7 no matter where we block, so we might as well take out the one with the Monstrous Rage. Keep Vraan back because we're gaining life from that. Yeah, we got to take care of one of the Swift Spears and probably keep the Go for the Throat open for next turn. Sheoldred would have been pretty good for the turn. Braids still blocks on the ground relatively well, and we don't have to sacrifice here. And if we lose the Braids, then Vraan still might be able to do something. Vraan also reads other creatures. Can sacrifice Braids to itself, gain 2, but it's probably better as a blocker. One or more other creatures you control die. Ooh, they go for a face down. They just swing in the air. We get to keep the Braids around. Beautiful, man. That's awesome. We get the Sheoldred down and established and try to start gaining that way, right? Unfortunately, I'd love to get the Go for the Throat rolling. With Braids, now I'm very tempted to sacrifice itself. Might get a good swing here. I'm going to sacrifice Braids to itself. Actually, we could sacrifice a land instead. No, it's going to be Braids to itself. See if they sacrifice like the Phoenix chick. Because that's... Okay, they choose not to. So we gain 2. And then another 2 from the Vraan going back up to 12. Works out really nicely. What did you guys think about that? Sacrificing the Braids to itself? They go Crucible for the turn. They swing in the air. This is great news, guys. More tapped land means we still don't have the Go for the Throat with the Ratadrabik. So we'll start with the Surveil. We don't need the Plaza. We'll get the Ratadrabik down. We could swing with the Sheoldred, but that's what's holding back a lot of their blocks. I think we're okay for now. Let's pass it back. Vraan and Sheoldred are putting in a lot of work right now. Nano buffs the Swift Spear. They still have 2 cards available. Codebreaker. And they still, they have this face down Codebreaker too. They still just swing in the air, so we still gain another 2 from the Sheoldred here, which is just so good for us, man. With the opponent at 7. With the opponent at 7, we can full swing. If we lose the Ratadrabik, that's not great, though. We can swing with Sheoldred and have the Go for the Throat available. I think they might just take... Okay, they do go for the Chump. Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense. So we still have Lord Skitter as another blocker. And we have the Go for the Throat on the Sheoldred. Sheoldred comes back with the Ratadrabik. If that's... And then the Vraan does the thing too. But no, this is fine. Also, we could have gotten a rat if we played the Lord Skitter before combat. I wasn't thinking there, guys. I apologize. Been really struggling to play Magic the last couple of days for some reason. Been missing a lot. Maybe it's the deck list. I don't think it is, though. Maybe I just need to focus in a bit better. Go for that full swing. Oh, buddy. They say no Sheoldred holding us back. Got some burn in hand. They got to be careful with that ward on the Ratadrabik. Like they are going to pay the ward to on the Ratadrabik. So a big thing here is, guys, do we want to... Let's have them pay the ward to, first of all. Prowess, prowess. Do we want to pop the Sheoldred, bring it back for a blocker on the ground? Maybe. Then they have the mountain available though too. We only have the block with the Lord Skitter. The Vraan. Don't want to take too much. Okay. So we resolve. This happens. This happens. Vraan does the thing like that. Okay, and then we block here. We try to block here, and then we pop the Codebreaker with the Go for the Throat. Doesn't look like it's going to be anything else from the opponent here. Not bad, guys. Not bad at all. We go for that full swing. GG opponent. Could have played that out like 10 times better. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm being too hard on myself today, too. I'm not really sure. Heck yeah, I had fun. And don't ask again. Okay. Okay, guys. Let's keep the ball rolling. We're like just playing good creatures. And we're just not doing any of the combos in the list, unfortunately. We got to see a lot though there with the Vraan. So I guess like Vraan having like that amazing synergy with the build was fine. But what we want is we want to pop off with crazy combos with Ratadrabik, and we really are struggling to actually achieve that just by how it's all worded. Katie Kambal in hand too. Uh-oh, we don't have the white source for the Get Lost, and the opponent goes first. Oh well. We'll be okay. Well, I mean, we will have a white source if we get to keep the white creatures on the board, but Concealed Courtyard also works. Nice. Get that down and established while it comes out untapped. Okay, Rakdos colors from the opponent. I will show my Orzhov colors. Get ready for the plazas. Right into Kambal, probably. Lord Skitter might be a bit of a better... No. Against Rakdos, I mean, anything here dies. I'd rather see if they let us keep the Kambal around, or since it's Rakdos colors, maybe it's burn that doesn't hit the 4 toughness, right? Or we could have waited for 4, got Ratadrabik down, and then started dropping our 3s. I guess that's possible too. There's their 4th. They didn't have instant speed removal. Outrageous robbery, huh? They're taking 2 of our cards. Okay, we have some decisions to make here. But it's probably just Ratadrabik. Mondrak's good. Literally everything in our hand is good right now. Is good to have here. Opponent's tapped out anyways. Let's just play this now. Go for the swing. See, like Lord Skitter will start generating tokens too, but now at least Ratadrabik kind of protects the Kambal. That's a way to get rid of the Ratadrabik, I suppose. I guess also they could it's gonna be Tiny Bones actually, so the Death Touch is a little bit brutal. That's our Tiny Bones. Hey, give that back. Okay, start with the Surveil. I'll keep that on top. Heck yeah, dude. Play the Ratadrabik. Still have a swing. Oh, right, trade. The problem is it comes back as a 2-2, so another Brotherhood's End would absolutely be way too devastating. But yeah, we'll go for the Ratadrabik. Hopefully it's not another Brotherhood's End, because that would be really good for the opponent. And at this point, too, we're not going to swing into our Tiny Bones. 6 mana comes down for the opponent. And we have not been able to establish too much. I mean, we're very much leaning into the mid-range, so everything's very expensive. So we're usually only able to do one thing a turn anyways. March on the Ratadrabik, they choose to go ahead and pay that extra 2, but they gain 3 from that as well, and they do have a swing if they want. They probably just hold it back, though. Okay, il-Kor off the top, and Lord Skitter is terrific. Ah, we're running right into a board wipe. Oh wow, I'm sticking to the plan. Let's do this. Yeah, look at all this. All right, let's take the Brotherhood's End out of the grave, I guess. All right, no attacks. Yeah, Brotherhood's End's going to be brutal. Actually, any of the Rakdos board wipes is going to be absolutely devastating to this build without the Ratadrabik on the board. They got rid of 2 Ratadrabiks really, really easily. And the same would not be said for just like Sheoldred instead, you know? Wow, they're passing it back, guys. That's huge for us. So we'll start with that Surveil. Vraan is pretty good. I'll keep that. We have to Get Lost. Mondrak could create a couple rats. Again, though, at what point are we just going to run right into that board wipe? I think it's going to be a little bit better to establish the Braids for the turn, unfortunately. We don't have any great swings either. We do know what we're getting next turn, though. We'll take the March this time. I think it's Braids. Although, if it's a Brotherhood's End, Braids gets picked up too, but we have a chance of drawing. Although they'd probably just sacrifice Tiny Bones if that's what it's going to be, right? They also have the Mirrex generation too. They're looking at their hand. Still a tough decision, indeed. But we'll go Braids. And we'll tap these down as the black sources in case we lose all of our creatures. That way we can keep the Get Lost available. Even if we lose our creatures, right? What is it, opponent? What is it? I'm on the edge of my seat. Just some like instant speed removal is kind of what I'm feeling at instant speed from Rakdos, you know? They got end turn. Looks like they're going to let us get this Braids ability unless they're going to do it now before we get the chance. It'd be outrageous robbery for 5. Dude. That's not good. They took our Vraan. That's not good. All right, let's pop a rat, see if they pop the Tiny Bones. If they do, okay, they don't. So they don't, I'm guessing they don't have the board wipe in hand then. Another Braids. That Vraan was going to be really good with this Braids on the board too. Chandra. So we do get the Get Lost, but they're going to get to activate this ability first. They go for 2 mana. This is a perfect time to take out the Chandra right now. They get a couple map tokens. A very, very good hit. Also, Kambal totally generates the map tokens for us too. Cool stuff, man. Very cool, because now we can start popping the map tokens to the Braids. But I guess they could do the same thing to the Braids, right? To prevent the card draw. Dusk Rose Reliquary. They sacrifice one of those maps and pick up the Lord Skitter. Nice. This is definitely a slow burn of a game. Might be Braids again. They really, I'm going to start with the map token on the rat because I'm going to swing with the rat. Okay, and we'll start with the Surveil, see what we see on the Backstreet. Oh, that's not going to do anything right now. I'm going to send that. I thought about it for a second, but it's going to be... Let's do that again. Another map token on the rat. Even if we end up sacrificing the rat to Braids, that's fine. Okay. And we do have the Mondrak if we want to get that down and established. And then we do have the bottom ability if we want that indestructible on it too. Which at that point, we still accept this trade, first of all. We'd be taking 4, which is fine. 2 other artifacts or creatures are indestructible, and Rakdos might not have too much that exiles, so the indestructible counter could be really good, unless they double down on some instant speed spot removal then. Sheoldred, alright. Alright, dude. So that was their virtue, first of all. We know that they have Vraan. That was our Dusk Rose Reliquary. The Outrageous Robbery for 5 was really scary, man. That's our Lord Skitter. That's super scary. Wait, was that our Sheoldred too then? No, I don't think it was. I think that was their Sheoldred. Alright, sweet. Dude, Kambal. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Because we get 2 of them because of the Mondrak. So no need to activate the Mondrak bottom ability there. Wait, we didn't have 1 mana open. Guys, I've been playing very poorly. Luckily, we didn't get punished there. Oh, Mirrex is really good. I didn't have the 1 mana open, did I? I don't think I did. We could pay the 4 for the other 2, but you still need to have 1 mana somewhere. So, we do have the Braids for the turn. I guess we could keep the Plaza open, but it's probably going to be Mirrex anyways. No great swings. They're going to start gaining on the Sheoldred too. With a sacrifice, the il-Kor will start dealing more damage as well. Let's make sure that we have the Plaza open, the Mirrex open, and the Mondrak ability open here. Outside of that, no great swings. We are going to sacrifice. They can match any of our sacrifices, which they probably do. But we'll sacrifice a rat and see if they sacrifice their rat. They do. Okay. All right. We pass it back, I guess. I guess, right? Definitely a lot going on here. Yeah, that could have been really bad. Me thinking that we had protection on the Mondrak. They could have easily... Like, this is a burn down the house style build for sure. Like 110%. Of course, Brotherhood's End not being able to pick up the Mondrak's 4/4 is good enough, though, too. Opting for taking damage. Oh, no. Taking it back. Taking it back. Yeah, with the Mirrex generation, we'll gain 1 on the Elas and another off the Kambal, and then they'll lose 1 there. And we'll still have 1 open if we want to activate the Mondrak ability anyways. They'll take a couple off the Elas. I don't know. Yeah, we need to see something great off the top that isn't land, right? Although the Mirrex was still pretty good. Target player draws 3 cards and loses 3 life. Wow. They restock their hand beautifully here. With Sheoldred on the board. That's disgusting, man. They go back up to 16 since we don't have like great ways through. We're really struggling just kind of poking them with the il-Kor and the Kambal as well. Lord Skitter. This is so cool though. They must be missing spot removal or something, right? But now that we're able to keep the Plaza open for extra protection too, like if they do decide to go spot removal on any of these, it's definitely worth protecting. Go for the swing with the tiny bones. They have so much mana open. I guess they want to play more from our grave, which is that worth a block at long last? We could block with the Mondrak. I guess that works. Let's do it. Block with Mondrak. Choose the blocker and then activate the Mondrak ability. I guess, guys. I don't know. We could, we have 3 there. So if we take 4, then we'll still have Plaza if they have instant speed. And we'll still have Mirrex too. And we'll sacrifice the 2 tapped rats. This is crazy, man. Lots to think about for sure. Yeah, we'll still have 3 for Plaza if they go instant removal. And we'll still have 3 for Mirrex if they don't go instant removal. And we go for the throat. Plaza. There's a reason we paid for this. There's a reason, man. Because now we're tapped out. And indestructible counter goes on to the Mondrak. They lose the Tiny Bones and a Go for the Throat. And all we lost was a Plaza. That was pretty good. That worked out for us. Map token, they get a mountain off the top. Okay, we go for the draw. Wow. Mr. Tack off the top. Where do we even begin? We need more token generation. That's what we need. 1, 2, 3. We'll have 2 mana available after we play this. This is tough, dude. Our token generation relies on the opponent's token generation. That's probably a good play, though. We don't plan on attacking, so we just play this. We'll have 2 mana open. Okay. We'll go for the sacrifice on the Braids. Unfortunately, they just go ahead and sacrifice their rat anyways, but it's still worthwhile because of the il-Kor. A lot going into this match, man. I don't know who it's leaning towards at all. I'll say this right now. I think it'd be heavily leaning towards us if we actually got that Vraan. And if, like, we actually established that Vraan, you know? That Sheoldred putting in a lot of work, dude. I think it's gained them, like, 10 life so far. But they did lose the 3 from the Insatiable Avarice, too. Yeah, this is the game where, like, we have everything established that we need on the board. We just need to actually have some token generation, or like Ratadrabik on the board for that matter. Losing both of the Ratadrabik early on, it's pretty brutal. Thinking that's all good, opponent. Take your time, buddy. I completely understand. Like this is definitely a thought-provoking game, to say the very least. Go for the Surveil on the Theater. Oh, I forgot to change. I forgot to change my aesthetics for the game. I changed my sleeve, my card sleeve at least. That's good. I guess these work too. Actually, the dog. Oh wow, we get 4 treasures there. They go back up to 16 because Sheoldred's incredible. If we had a Sheoldred on the board, though, we'd balance that out. That'd be pretty good. We go for another big score. Oh, man. They go back up to 20, and Kambals only once each turn, so we don't get the extra treasures. Mondrak was the only one doubling because the tack specifically says creatures. And we actually don't get this either. So because they started with the treasures, since we're not getting extra creatures on the board. Oh, okay. That was a pretty good play from the opponent, as they figure we don't need the extra treasures right now anyways. That was pretty good. So, yeah, since the Kambals only once each turn. All right, let's see what we see. Land, bro, that's so bad. That's so bad. We need to do something about this Sheoldred. Maybe they accept this. Maybe they accept this trade. 2, if we attack with 3, they might take the 6. They chump the 1/1. Can sacrifice a treasure. They can do the same thing. We do have the Plaza if we want to use that, but I think we're going to need to save that. And then, of course, the Mirrex is going to be doing something this turn, too. Okay. Okay, let's start with the Mirrex, since we have nothing else. We still have the Plaza open. And we want to generate as many of these as possible right now. Unfortunately, the generation doesn't deal damage with the il-Kor, only the Kambal dealing the 1. But once these die, or if they wipe the board or something, then that would be pretty darn good. So now we have all those Mirrex tokens. We can go 1, 2, 3. See if they accept any of these trades. They might just go Sheoldred into the 4/4. They might just take the 6, since they're gaining so much life off of Sheoldred anyways. They chump. They end up chumping here, guys. They don't know what's in hand, so I suppose that makes sense. They go down to 14. Plaza open. That's it. That's the turn. We can always sacrifice more to the Mondrak's ability, though, can't we? Yeah, I mean, we have enough mana. It doesn't say, like, once each turn, and it doesn't say sorcery only, obviously. So I guess before the il-Kor dies to something, I guess we could start sacrificing our creatures to the Mondrak. Okay, they go for Abandoned Mire. See what they see. They do find like a Chandra if they want it. They grab that Chandra. Yep. Probably a creature over the treasure, I suppose. Because I'd rather them sacrifice their rat too. And now they're down to a Sheoldred. Man. There is so much going on in this game. It's not even funny. So at what point... So it goes to nighttime because we didn't play anything. Yeah, at what point do we want to start sacrificing? I guess only at the last moment if they like decide to wipe the board or something. Or if they target something that we might as well sacrifice anyways, right? But if they target something that we might as well sacrifice, we might as well use the Plaza of Heroes to protect it. They go ahead, see the last card in our hand. Also, guys, let's not forget, we do have like the Mondrak play if we want to sacrifice one, or sacrifice the one without the indestructible. This might be a tough one for the opponent to come back from, guys, but they're still at 18. But the Mirrex, though, looking at the top 5. Hey, there's some burn down the house. Oh my goodness. Until the end of next turn, they can play those. They do have 5 right now, though. And it's not going to hit the Mondrak, and it will hit the Sheoldred and the Chandra for that matter. But it'll get the poison counter mites off the board. But il-Kor will also really pop off for the turn too. It's going to be a deadly cover-up. That way it doesn't hit the Chandra. Luckily, Mondrak's around, man. I guess this just happens, and we don't have to activate the Mondrak. We could protect one thing on this board, which should be the biggest thing, because that way we'll have Mondrak and Tack for 10, and the opponent is close to tapped out, and they're going to be taking a ton of damage from the il-Kor here, because of all the death triggers, which will pop up after they decide what they're exiling. And they go for the exile on, I don't even know, Lord Skitter? Was it? Is that what they took? Oh, yeah, they took the Lord Skitter. And here's the il-Kor triggers. All right. The Plaza of Heroes really coming in handy. That brings them down to 10. The opponent has 1 treasure available to gain life or something. They need something here, because we're going to go 10 to face. Oh, Celestis. They go to 11. They're in this, dude. They're totally in this. The question is, do we still swing face, get them down to 1, or do we take out the Chandra before it can generate any value? That's going to come down to our top deck for sure. Kambal. That's game, right? That's totally game. We full swing face, unless they have something at 1 mana. Swing face. All right. All right. Down to 1. Here we go. Profiteering Mare. What's their one? What's their one treasure? What is it, opponent? They're looking at their hand. They do find a March. Oh, they're in this, bro. They're in this. I'm thoroughly impressed, and I didn't even think twice about what they could possibly have here. They're back up to 5. Campbell's bottom ability when 1 or more token enters. I guess we wait to do the Mirrex at the very last moment here. Bro, I mean, this is like one of those games where I could have easily accidentally dropped like an early good game or something. You know what I mean? Like, holy cow. The opponent holding on for dear life and Chandra being amazing.
You'll never guess what I do next.
What did they... Oh, they missed big time, didn't they? They only hit a duress there. They switch it to Knight. Gain 1. They're looking for more off the top. We still have so much value on this board. At the very last moment, we want to activate the Mirrex. Okay, the Vraan. Bartolomé. Land. Is this it? Is it finally it? Activate Mirrex. All right, bring the opponent down to 5. They still got great blocks, but now we're wide enough to full swing. GG opponent. Oh my goodness, dude. 24-minute game. Such a good game, opponent. Like, there were so many moments where I was like, first of all, I didn't know who it was leaning towards at all. We're actually going to end on a high note there too, because we're 46 minutes in, and I think that if we hop into another game, it's just going to be another 20-minute game. We got to go over this deck list again, dude. What a great one. That was awesome. Holy cow. All right, what do we got here? Malicious Eclipse. Cool. Rotation proof. Ratadrabik. Check it out, guys. We switch it over to Alchemy, and the game doesn't yell at us because it is rotation proof. We go back to standard. What is rotation proof? Well, we're losing Innistrad, Midnight Hunt, Crimson Vow, Neon Dynasty, and New Capenna. So the deck was built with none of that. Yeah. Cool. Not bad. Ratadrabik is one of those cards where it's like such a cool build around, but there were so many moments today where we just like were looking at what was going on, and it's just like, you know, for 4 mana, we'd rather just play Sheoldred. So we have it as a 4-up for a very good reason. It's the main build around. Could you imagine that last game if we had Ratadrabik on the board at any point when we were established, right? They killed our Ratadrabiks really early, a little bit too easily, unfortunately. But if this was on the board, I think that would have been a much faster game. Once we actually had the things, once we had the Mondrak and the tack, it was actually really sick. And I said, like, in the final thoughts, we'll talk about dropping this because I think it's just going to be too expensive. This was so essential there, just making an excessive amount of extra tokens off of the Mondrak, doubling it, and then the tack tripling it, right? So 6 tokens on the Mirrex. Is 1 Mirrex not enough? Maybe. We might want a second Mirrex. But is the 4 Plaza of Heroes enough? Yeah. Heck yeah. Don't drop these. This was good. It was really good. It's going to be good in every legendary list that you put together that really just cares about its legends. Couple Get Lost. Go for the Throat. Dusk Rose Reliquary. We got to see a really cool interaction there where we're giving the map tokens to the opponent on the Get Lost, but you get those map tokens back if you have Kambal on the board, which is really sick. Of course, you could use those for the Braids sacrifice and stuff. Just remember with the Braids that the opponent always has that option to sacrifice their things anyway. So we didn't get to see Braids do too much today, but you know, it kept their cards down, I suppose, especially since we were doubling our tokens and the opponents weren't doubling our tokens. Poor little Bart really struggled today. There's still going to be moments though where you want a way to sacrifice your creatures regardless. This happens to be one of those ways, but it's also legendary, so it fits everything else in here. If it ends up dying, you get 1 back to the Ratadrabik, maybe 2 if you got that Mondrak on the board as well. Lord Skitter is always going to be good, man. I love this card because I love swarming the board, and rats are really cool too. So Lord Skitter pairing well with the Kambal as well. That was sick. Tiny Bones didn't do anything except for the opponent, right? And Skrelv didn't do anything today either. But I think usually it would. The limited amount of removal packed into the list sure felt sketchy. Do we want to go up any removal? Number 1, Vito 2. This is just 4 mana 4 mana, 4/4 flyer that didn't get to do too much today, but when we are sacrificing things and when we are popping things, and it's really easy to sacrifice to the Mondrak as we showcased today too, that the first time you sacrifice a permanent, you gain 2 life. The second time, the opponent loses 2 life, and then the third time, you create a 4/3 white-black vampire demon creature token with flying. I think in this build, I think it's going to be very often where you can actually do all 3 on the same turn, get that vampire. That's a lot of value, dude. So much value, in fact, that the first 2 times it just ends up being like that Vraan ability. And that Vraan ability happens to be really good because any amount of life gain while you're draining the opponent's life really does go the extra mile, acting as like control, really, you know? So guys, let me know in the comments, what would you add or take out? I'm not going to change too much here. Although, like I said, I could see dropping a Ratadrabik, going up another Sheoldred. It's going to work fine. Same thing, you could drop the Vito, go up that third Sheoldred. It's going to be fine, dude. It's just too powerful of a card. We're trying to do cool things, though. So having the Vito in here is awesome as well. It's just, you're just not going to be sad if you see Sheoldred over your other 4-drops, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things that I could see changing. I would keep all 4 Elas il-Kors, though. I think this is going to be a very important addition to the list regardless. It's going to have a huge target on his back because of how valuable it actually is in these specific lists. When you end up dropping Elas il-Kor and a turn 2 Lord Skitter, that's a really good curve, bro. And then, yeah, if you do end up going turn 4 Ratadrabik or something, you're sitting pretty. You really are. The Backstreet was fine, didn't really slow us down too much. The Courtyard was fine. Yeah, not opting for the Painlands seems a little sketchy because when you get Courtyard off the top in the late game, you really want to play your 5-drop, but you really don't have to as well because we are curving out around 2. So you might as well just play one of your 2s or 3s instead while you wait for that to untap on the next turn. That makes a lot of sense to me, especially when... Okay, but what? Hold on now, hold on. It would also make sense to have some of the Painlands in here anyways, because we are gaining a lot of life. But I'll tell you what, dude, it's brutal out here. Deck lists really know how to pack a punch, and like all of them know how to pack a really good punch. We're seeing a lot of mono white humans. It's disgusting. It's so powerful, right? A lot of mono red, of course. A lot of Selesnya enchantments. All of that. Some of it's going to be rotating out, right? Humans is going to look completely different. Selesnya enchantments is gonna be gone. I can't. Maybe we'll get something in the upcoming sets that can bring Selesnya enchantments back, but we're losing so much for that deck list that it's not even funny, and it's gonna really struggle. But you know, Calyx isn't rotating, so that's noteworthy, I guess. Anyways, guys, my point being here is we could make the argument like, yeah, Painland because we're gaining a lot of life, but at the same time, you're gaining a lot of life because your opponent is repeatedly just destroying your face with absolutely every card that they play. So yeah, so I'm going to stick with no Painlands. Definitely something to consider. It's the same thing with the last deck list that I posted to you. The last one should be the Dimir Poison, where I opted for the Painland instead. And the Painland was really brutal. It was doing a lot of damage. And then at the end of the video, I brought that up and I said, should this just be the other land? Maybe. And I said, like, let me know in the comments. Same thing here. Let me know in the comments. What land are we supposed to play? Especially after rotation. It's a really hard decision, man. I do know one thing. Plaza, Mirrex, totally fine. You could also, like, consider that second Mirrex, too. So, guys, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. Definitely let me know what would you add or take out down in the comments. While you're down there, check out that description where we got that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too. If you're interested in supporting the channel that way for real, that Patreon goes the extra mile. So thank you to all my patrons. Y'all are beautiful. All right, guys. Hey, I will see you in the next video.